start off with your year. What are your thoughts on the season so far?
We've had a pretty good season so far, starting off. We had a few little dips a week or so ago, but we're back on the uphill side, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Next one here, 6 wins in a row after that streak, dropping 3 of 4 to some good teams. First of all, how pleased are you with the turnaround? And then second of all, what's been the key kind of in this stretch here?
Even in the 3 games that we lost right in a row, I really felt pretty good about 2 of the 3 losses. One was to ranked Wayne, and we played them 1-0, and really did a nice job actually. I guess the only real dip I really saw was against Belle Plaine, and we just stranded lots of runners and just didn't string hits together, and we didn't get some bunts down, and so that one I really call a dip. And but we came back and practiced hard and refocused, and even though we lost those 3 in a row, or 3 basically in a row, I really felt good about where we were at and what we were doing, and so that turnaround just came from the girls deciding we're going to take the next step, and I'm proud of that.
So much youth on this team here, contributing a ton. The future of Sigourney softball looks to be bright. Talking about that aspect of the team, it's got to make you really excited here.
Yeah, it does. It makes me really excited. This team is really young, and we were young last year too, and so we might be young, but we have quite a bit of experience, and that really helps. But even the incoming class of 8th graders has some good softball players, and even as I look down, I was just at the junior high game, and so even as I look there's a lot of potential coming up that this program could really be successful for several years.
At the plate, you're led in average by 2 freshmen, Ava and Josephine. Where have they each found success here this year at the dish?
Yeah, Josephine, of course, hits the ball very, very hard. She has quite a few extra base hits, including several home runs. And her success just comes from the amount of cuts that she takes. She takes a ton of cuts, and that really has benefited her. She's also pretty disciplined at the plate. Every now and then she'll swing at a bad pitch and she'll look at me and just kind of smile, and she knows it. I don't have to coach that up in her. Ava Fish also takes some really good cuts. She's our leadoff hitter, and she is very disciplined at the plate. She attacks really good pitches. She takes a pretty short, compact cut at it, and she really does a nice job as a leadoff, getting on base and starting our team.
Obviously, we have to talk about Carly, one of the best pitchers in the state. Describe what it's like to have someone like that in the circle for you on a given night.
Yeah, Carly's a great kid as well as a phenomenal athlete. She works so hard. She is very dedicated, and she's dedicated to this team. She plays travel ball too, but very seldom ever misses one of our high school things for that travel ball. And I guess it's just kind of a combination of working together. Having her on the team is so much fun because as a former pitcher, we can sit and talk and we can say, okay, this is kind of where we're at and what we need to do to get better and how to motivate your team behind you, because it is hard to keep your team in the game, especially when you have as many strikeouts as she does. But she works so hard, always working all year long. So having her is a blessing.
Next one here, still a ton of season left for you guys to go. What are some things that you'd like to see your team improve on here as we get further into the season?
I'd like to see them stay in the game more, especially when the competition isn't as tight. In tight competition, they stay in the game, but sometimes it's easy to forget where you're at when it's easy. And so when the game isn't as tight, we need to stay in it just as much as when it's a little tighter game. And so that's one way I want to improve. The other thing is we still are working on getting those bunts down and a few base running errors, especially that we're just working on little things like that. I keep telling them little things are what matters. So.
Last one here for you. After having a taste of state last year, how motivated are these girls to get back and then also take that next step and maybe win the whole thing?
These girls are very motivated. I have to say that I've kind of told them I want to quit talking about it, at least with them. I want them to quit talking about it. I want them to focus on every day. I want them to focus day to day, and good things happen to people that focus on that. And when we don't look too far ahead or too far behind, I think things will take care of themselves. We have to take care of every day, the wins, and once the wins happen, then like I said, you can just keep moving along. Now, with that being said, we do talk a little bit about what it takes to get there. We don't have them this year, but last year we had jars with beans, and every time they did something outside of practice that related to softball, they put a bean in the jar to see where they were at. And at the end of the year, we looked to see whose jar was the fullest and talked about what kinds of things they did. And we didn't do that this year, but we've talked about it. What have you done outside of practice? What have you done? Have you taken more cuts? Did you take better cuts? Did you focus on your field? What did you do to help this team go one more step? And these girls are very motivated. Very motivated. I don't have to do a whole lot in that category.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, go Savages.
All right.